Rev up your engines! Okay, here's a Chrysler Pacifica van. This van really stinks. I mean, literally. It's a rental van from Thrifty that my son rented. When he got inside, he noticed this kind of an odd smell, and as time went on, the more he drove it and the faster he turned the AC on, the more the vehicle stunk. We're going to a party at my other son's house. I said, man, this car really stinks. I got to do something about it. My wife said, oh, don't work on the car. We're having a party. So that night when we got back, I said, go in the house. I'm going to find out what the smell is, right? It was a stench. And like I said, the more you use the AC, the more it stunk. So I took the glove box out, went behind here, and what did I find? A dead mouse on top of the cabin air filter. This mouse had been dead for a while. It was long beyond rigor mortis. It was rotting. It stunk. How any car company could rent this vehicle to somebody, because it wasn't like it just happened. No, the stink had been there for quite some time. Somebody cleaned this car, maybe they have no sense of smell, I don't know, rented it out, and it stunk like mad because of the dead mouse. And here's the quality control at a car rental place. Look at this. This was inside the cabin air filter, stinking the car up. As you can see, the mouse has been dead for quite some time, and it really stinks. How they could possibly send this car out to rent to somebody. This is a good tip to anybody renting a vehicle from anybody. You get in that car, put it on full blast, and if that thing stinks, refuse it and get another one. Now, as for the van itself, you'll often find the only van that you can rent at many places is a Chrysler Pacifica van, because they are cheaper made, but they're also cheaper to buy. So the rental car companies can get these things cheaper than other vans, hence they have fleets of them because they cost less money. Now, other than the dead mouse inside the cabin air filter stinking the vehicle up, I have no problems myself renting one of these. If I need a van to fit everybody in, the grandkids, everybody's together during the vacation, they can all talk. It's not like you're in separate cars, right? They're fine for that because you don't own it, right? You don't have to fix the transmission if it breaks. You don't have to deal with any of that crap. The numbers that Chrysler throws out of these minivans is rather artificially inflated. It's not that there's a whole bunch of regular Americans buying these things. It's that the rental car companies are getting them, people lease them, because smart people know, hey, these things don't hold up that well over time. Both my sons have Sienna minivans, and they get in these. They both rent Chrysler minivans when they take the kids where they fly and they rent a vehicle. A lot of people are going to rent these things, but buying them, not the smartest move. Realize they're not going to hold up like a Toyota Sienna. They just aren't going to. And of course, if you compare the modern Sienna, the hybrid, they get phenomenal gas mileage. While this thing, don't listen to the horse manure EPA rated gas mileage, right? They say, oh, it can get 29 miles a gallon on the highway. My son goes cruise control, 5 miles an hour over the speed limit, leaves it on cruise control. This thing got like 23 miles a gallon on the highway. It's not very good when you're just cruising along, right? And because it's got a V6 engine, in-town gas mileage is horrendous. This thing's getting like 13 miles a gallon in town. The in-town gas mileage is horrible. Now, on the other hand, you're renting a car, you're on vacation, right? It is a reasonably powerful engine. It's got smooth acceleration. You can pass people, you can get in and out with no problems whatsoever. You're renting it on vacation, as long as it gets you from point A to point B, you got enough acceleration so you're not endangering your family because it can't pass anybody. It can be a decent vehicle to rent. I also know a lot of people lease these things. They're not going to have to deal with the transmission breaking or the engine burning oil. They're just leasing it. They're going to get rid of it, right? And for most people that want a minivan for driving around the road, going on vacation, or business use, they have what most people want in a minivan. They want to be able to fit a whole bunch of people in, which they can. Look at the space. Look at the space. Lots of room. And I mean lots of room because, hey, the people that are in the back row, they're not getting gypped. They got real views. Cup holders galore, air conditioning vents, even in the back. They're comfortable vehicles for traveling around in with a family. And the leather trim seats, hey, they're really comfortable. Everybody loves these doors that slide in and out. You can park, people can get out, small parking spaces. You don't have to worry about a door opening for the passengers. And when you get in the driver's seat, pretty solid built, comfy armrest. We'll start it up. Check it out, it's got some nice blue lights on it. Ooh. As you can see, the controls are pretty easy to reach. It does have the stupid electric parking brake, but of course they all do. Like me, when you start it, the first thing you're gonna do is turn that automatic start stop off. Now it's turned off, so it won't shut down every time you come to a stop because it's annoying. You can also turn the collision avoidance warning system off so it's not making noise at you. You can turn the traction control off if you want to drive like a maniac. Now, as you can see, this one's got 51,000 miles on it. Not that many miles. Used about a quarter of a tank. Still got 321 left. But these are all highway miles. Generally, it's only getting 23 and a half on the highway. You can set the air conditioning in the back for the back passengers. Everything's computerized. Even your stupid car is always updating software. And you can see you get all kinds of choices. For music, different things you want. Got heated seats. Simple comfort stuff. You want it a certain way, just push a button, you know, pretty simple stuff. So let's see how it goes down the highway. A V6, so it's pretty smooth. We'll take it over the bump. Now realize this is a minivan. We're not going to fly over the giant hump and drag things, so we'll go relatively slowly over the giant hump that keeps the water going down the road to the ocean instead of flooding my neighbor's house. Wasn't too bumpy though, I gotta say, pretty smooth ride. Now the automatic door locks lock themselves. We'll see what it's like going down the road here. This is the horrible bumpy roads, and hey, it levels them out pretty smooth. They got a pretty good suspension system, well set up for a bunch of passengers, so they're riding down the road in their leather seats pretty smooth. And of course, realize this is a higher end one because it's got leather seats. Standards are fabric seats. Pay extra for these. And that's one of the things about these cars. They start out at a lower price than the Toyotas, but when you start adding leather and all the extras, hey, they can be pretty much the same price. So if you were actually buying one, I think you'd be a fool to buy one of these instead of a Sienna. Here we go. Hey, nice acceleration. This thing moves. There's no arguing that. Good thing I turned the traction control off so it could spin a little. Get a little action going here. Pretty smooth ride on these bumpy roads. Hey, for a van, it's pretty nimble. Got a decent suspension system. Perfectly adequate brakes for a minivan. And the transmission is shifting good. They seem to make it better than they used to in these cars, where the trannies were always falling apart. The collision avoidance system, not so hot, you know. It does the side, but that's about it. Doesn't have intelligent cruise control, at least the one on this. If it did, it doesn't work. It'll keep climbing up. It's not like the Toyotas, Hondas, and other companies that have intelligent cruise control that makes it a lot more comfortable to drive. I mean, if you were really renting a vehicle and you're going to use cruise control in relatively high built-up traffic areas, this would be kind of a pain. You'd be better off one like a Toyota with intelligence cruise control. So it's a nice thing to drive around if you want to rent a car and carry a bunch of people around it. But as for actually buying one for yourself, you could spend your money better elsewhere if you want something that's going to last a lot longer and have less maintenance. Now, this particular one, as you can see, made in Canada. And the Canadians still seem to do a pretty good job building cars. They can't win the Stanley Cup anymore, but they can build decent minivans themselves, right? Now, after looking closer, I can see that this particular 2022 Pacifica does have supposed adaptive cruise control. It just doesn't work very well. It just didn't work like the ones I've seen in Toyotas, Lexus, Acura. It's not that great, you know. It's kind of like American cars, and their early ABS braking systems really stunk. GM had class action suits against them for how horrible their ABS systems were when they first started making them. These, they don't stand a candle to the stuff that the other companies are putting out. It does have it, it just doesn't work very well. Maybe it's broken. I'll put my scan tool on now and see, because I rented a Toyota Corolla of all things when I went to California, but the cruise control didn't work on that because obviously the car had been in a wreck. Before I got in it, I noticed the bumper was kind of sagging a little, and when I turned the cruise control on, it says cruise control not working, see owner's manual. And then I just figured, hey, I didn't have my scan tool, so I couldn't look at it. I got my scan tool here, so let's hook it up just for giggles. Now you can see how this thing has been worked on, because the OBD port's already been pulled out of its hole, so it's been plugged in and kind of knocked out of place to begin with. So we'll plug it in here. Beeping, so it's doing something already. Just wait a second. 2022 RU Chrysler Pacifica. Is a Chrysler product. Oh, you need a fancy scan tool like I have, access to the internet. You got to pay to join certain websites so you can access Chrysler's information. The company is scumbags. They want to make you go back to the dealer so they can rip you off. So we good mechanics have to pay extra, buy fancier tools. Then we have to go and pay extra to join a society. Gotta move the car closer to my garage where the wireless is. Go to autoauth.com. The whole thing's ridiculous. It pretty much shows you what a scumbag company Stellantis is, trying to limit access to their information. What a pain in the butt. Unlock their security gateway. Really, Stellantis? You're scumbags. We got through all that crap. We'll do a topology scan. There's just something wrong with these manufacturers doing stuff like that. Absolute scumbags. Ready now? We got a couple of codes here. Radio frequency hub. Network error code. Check the other one. It's again the radio. So there's some funky thing going on with the radio. Oh, it needs software updates, blah, blah. It's a 2-year-old vehicle, right? These things have problems as they age. Their electronics are kind of weak. All this electronic crap, stuff's going to break. You're going to go bananas. That's why I say you want to buy a minivan, get a Toyota Sienna, maybe even a Honda Odyssey. The newer ones are better than the older ones were. Don't buy one of these Chrysler things because they got you by the short and curlies when they break. Got to find a high-level mechanic paying all the money for all this information services, fancy scan tools, and you're going to pay through the nose to fix the electronics when they break, and it's a Chrysler product, so they will break. So there you have it, a Chrysler minivan that really stunk. Now, it wasn't the car's fault that there was a dead mouse in it. It's certainly the rental car company's fault for not fixing it, renting out a car with a dead mouse in it. But if you're going to rent a van, you need a lot of people that go around in comfort. Not a bad idea. But if you're going to buy one, it's probably a stupid idea. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.